Hey, welcome to the United We Scan podcast. Just a quick disclaimer here that any of the views and opinions expressed by the individuals are not that of the USPS or the NRLCA. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and if you are in need of any assistance, please contact your designated union representative. Thank you. Welcome back, everybody. Episode 137. Tonight we're going to go over formula offices. We had a couple topics we want to discuss, and this one won out. So that's what we're doing this evening for you all. The formula and how it's supposed to work and all that good stuff. As well, it's important, especially with these SNDCs. And, well, if your office can't hire and retain RCAs, it's kind of what happens after a bit. So, how was your week, Josh?
My week was a week. Still playing truck roulette, and keeping in mind I've taken 2 O days already, and I have about 13 and a quarter hours of waiting so far since then. How was your week?
My week was okay. I was kind of surprised I got my relief day. My relief day is Fridays, so but I had a new sub who did my route, and she did better than the PTF who had been doing my route. So, and she's pretty brand new, so it's like you can do
Nice.
my route anytime. Yeah, I was, and yeah, I leave my phone number for them too, just in case. I don't care if they need to call me. I try to be a resource for them, but and she only had to call me once, and she did pretty good. She got done like under eval even. So I think they gave her a little bit of help, but what else happened this week? It was Flat Palooza on Monday, and then even yesterday, I was like, what the heck's going on? Like Death by Flats. Like where were all these flats in the summer? Where were all these flat like on it feels like Mondays and like Saturdays become like flat hell. Which is good because we do need the business and it's good for my evaluation, but not good for my hands to deliver all that. I had on my relief day, this is just a little side quest funny story. I was driving and there's this part of this one road by my parents' house that I lose service in, and I was on the phone with my dad, and I forgot I was going through that area, and I got through it, and it finally like connects back to the phone, and I was like, sorry dad, I was driving through rural route 13, and he was like, well, I don't know what that means. I'm like, oh, I'm so used to talking to postal peeps. And then I think I said something about wind at a CBU the other day, and he was like, what's a CBU? And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that I have a postal lingo talk that I speak all the time, I guess. But yeah, how was your week, Kristen?
Oh, I feel you with the flats. That's definitely for sure. My flats have been a bit heavy this week as well. And Wednesday I get back and see a box holder for Thursday. Of course, the furniture store south of us that anytime there's a holiday coming up, they have to have a sale. Like it's really gonna help them. But and that means a box holder. It never fails. There's a holiday, we get a box holder from them. So Thursday, I'm out on the route. Oh wait, no, it got even better. Nope, nope. That's so Thursday it starts off. So Wednesday night, perusing the Facebook, and our local humane society announced that they were getting a litter of puppies in Thursday at noon. They'd be available, first come, first serve. And fill out an application that they had linked up there. So we'd been talking about it, so I sent it to boyfriend and Ruby, and he's like, "Yeah, what do you got to do for it?" And I was like, "Oh, really?" So I filled out the application. So Thursday, I'm out on the route with this darn box holder, and about quarter after 11 in the morning, the Humane Society calls me, and she's letting me know, she'll put my name down for a puppy. They're only there till 4. I'm like, crap, I got a box holder. I'm like, all right, I'll see. I'll get there. I'll get there before you close. I'll figure out what I got to do. And got a hold of the postmaster and said, hey, can I finish delivering this box holder tomorrow? Because I got to be somewhere by quarter to 4. She's like, sure. I'm like, cool. I just took tail and I was done by 2:30. I wasn't even halfway through the route when I got the call. So, I'm like, wow, I don't run my route like this every day, but this is kind of nice. And so then 2:30, Ruby and Little Man and I, we headed off to the Humane Society, which is about a 30-minute drive, and we got the first pick of the litter. And
I'm like, oh.
we got ourselves a new little boy. He's 6 weeks old. We named him Ozzy. We're trying to go through names, and I looked at him. I said, Ozzy. And everybody went, yes, Ozzy. So he is a Doberman, Rottweiler, and Pitty. He's gonna be a big boy.
Like, oh.
And my my
Just big
my
pause.
my Pitty Luna, though, I knew she's not socialized as I would like her to be. And yeah, but by last night, she was pretty fine. She's still in that, hey, I'm the one in charge mode with him. And she's extremely protective of my grandson, including his toys, I discovered today. As the puppy was trying to get a hold of little stuffed Elmo, she jumped off the chair and took Elmo away from him. And yeah, so I can't have the toddler, the puppy, and the 4-year-old Pitty. And if they're all in one room together, everybody's got to be attentive and watch because my dog is still very. She's gotten a lot better, but she's reminding this puppy that she is the queen bee. So, so it's been interesting, but it's so far it's gone pretty good. It's gone better than I thought it would with her, so I'm happy about that. And then Friday morning, I pull into the office. As I'm pulling in the office, I see VMF there. They had hooking up the FFV that they had loaned out to us. I'm like, oh. So I pull around into the parking by the docks, and there's my LLV. After 4.5 months, my LLV got returned. I was so happy. It made my day. I didn't care that I had 3/4 of a route of box holders to finish on Friday. I got my LLV back with a brand new engine. Then I noticed they put brand new tires on it, and every other little quirk that had been wrong with it was fixed. The heat works amazing. And yeah, so first thing I did was play musical vehicles because I wanted my truck. And so I had to move Forrest's truck out of the ox truck area because nobody else in my office was going to do this. So I took it upon myself so I could have my truck. Move Forrest's truck from the ox truck spot back to Forrest's truck because she'd been using the FFE. And then took the shelves out of the truck that's assigned to the ox route because those were the shelves that came out of my truck so I could put them back in my truck and then moved the ox truck back to its parking spot and then looked at the guy on Route 2 who that's the truck I've been using is Route 2's truck. And I said, hey, you just want to move the trucks back where they go when we're done with their route? He goes, yeah, that's fine. I said, cool. So I could back my truck up into 2 spot, put the shelves back in, and start loading it. I was thrilled. It goes straight down the road. I am so happy to have my truck back. It's the little things in life. And then
Full
But did they
fix.
replace?
yeah,
But did they
I'm
replace the
excited.
seat belt?
And then I worked my K day yesterday. So, but yeah, that was pretty much my week. So now I'm at the, have today off, work tomorrow, have Tuesday off, and then Wednesday, of course, for everybody is the second Monday of the week.
I
Yep.
don't think Wednesday will be that bad. I'm hoping. I'm pretty hopeful about it, but
I'm hoping to. I mean, parcels right now for us have this is kind of like the calm before the holiday storm because I've only been averaging 100 to 120 a day. And so it's been kind of scarily light. So, yeah, I guess I'll enjoy it now before it really starts amping up here soon.
before Christmas.
Yeah. Yep, yep. So yeah, I've had a pretty good week. New puppy with a toddler. This is fun.
Fresh LOV.
My truck is back with a brand new engine, brand new tires. My cargo light is working properly. My turn signals work right. My steering wheel stays straight going down the road. That's not at a funky angle anymore. Oh yeah, it's. I'm happy. I'm thrilled. My truck is back. it's the best driving truck in our fleet right now at my office, and I know because I've driven them all in the last 4.5
Yeah.
months.
I'm like, get better. It
I
better
mean, just
be.
last week alone, I drove R4s and R2s, so I'm thrilled to have my truck back. Those little things, you know. I was so happy. I'm like, oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh, and my heat's all hooked up right down with the little thing that blows the heat out by your feet, so my feet stay warm. Oh yeah, I'm thrilled. Couldn't be happier. Great going into Christmas with my truck.
Yeah, sure. Rub the salt into the wound.
Hey, you're gonna have a shiny new office here soon, so
Yeah, exactly. And then you'll probably eventually get the duck trucks. Who knows?
yeah. Maybe you'll be the first one with a duck truck over there.
All right, guys. So we're talking about formula offices. I myself personally have never experienced a formula office, as my office is not at the moment. And my first office did not actually become formula till I think it was a year or two after I transferred over to where I'm at now, at least. So I don't have any experience with formulas, so I'm gonna let Meow and Josh take this one for the most part.
Do you want to talk about what it's like in a non-formula office?
I can talk
Because
what
I
it's like.
actually,
Yeah,
yeah. So I have always been in a formula office. It was since I started my office because it's large, and I've kind of seen that if it's a large office, typically they're formula.
yeah.
But
So and
I've
even
seen offices that are smaller, not formula. So
so even going back to my first office, which we had two RMPOs with two routes each. So we had 12 routes in the main office, and then three regular routes and an aux route with the other two offices. I know the one office still has the aux route and the regular route in it, whereas the other one unfortunately had a fire several years ago, so they pulled those two routes into the main office. But when I first got hired on, the two routes that were brought into the office that were in the other one were both J routes at the time. And there was one sub there, and they had that handled by having opposite J days. So they kept me at the main office, and the other office had a sub for the regular route and then the aux carrier. So, but we pretty much had a full complement of subs. So, going back to our RCA episode, I know what it's like working 1 day a week. And then, you see the turnover or, subs going regular as people retire. And when you're in a bigger office, that tends to happen a little bit more quickly sometimes. And so, we always had it handled. There was start running, more than one route when needed, covering, you do what you got to do. And so, like I said, after I transferred, it became a formula down the line because they just couldn't keep people and all that good fun stuff. And so the office I'm currently in, that I'm in because since I'm regular now, um, we have 4K routes, a J route, an H route, an aux route, and actually a highway contract route. So we have two subs right now, two RCAs. One is mine, signed to my route, and the other one is a 5-1 on the aux route. So I worked my K day yesterday, so my casemate she could have her K day. But then our J route, he's out on relief day work list and likes his overtime this time of year. He worked too, so his sub could run the other K route. My sub was then put on the aux route and assisting the other sub on the other K route, as far as I know. So yeah,
so
and
all of you guys that are in your office all have Saturday off then.
no, we have one K route with a Monday. The other K
Okay.
route, the one next to me, used to have Monday, but she recently switched back to Saturdays before her sub quit. Um, so she hasn't gone back to Mondays again, so she's still Saturdays. So we have three K routes are Saturdays and one's a Monday. And then our J route is a Saturday as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's, and then our one POV route, well, he's had one sub since I went full time, and that was my daughter, and that we all know that lasted about 6 weeks. So, yeah, he works, he's on the relief day work list, and the excuse management gets every time a new sub gets hired in is, Well, they don't have a POV to deliver mail, so they get assigned to one of the other routes. I Yeah, I'm not even gonna go there right now with that, but
Do the subs that work in your office, do they feel like they have enough hours, and or are they only working like maybe 2 days a week?
well, the one is on the ox route, so he's already, he's got the 5 and 1 for sure. So he's always 5 days for sure on that little ox route. It's only 2.5 hours, and then he does carry a full route when needed as well. It If management would pull their heads out of their you know whats and actually let the carriers, hey, we only have 2 subs right now. Can we kind of work together? I'm more than happy to work every other Saturday. If me and the 1K route next to us could flip flop every other Saturday, which we've kind of been doing the last 2 pay periods. How long that's going to last, I don't know. I'm not going to go there. But, and initially when the other sub took the Ox route, the 5 and 1, they were, because his primary is the J route, they were going to do, and he does have his own POV. He's got a right hand drive Jeep Cherokee. So they were going to,
Right.
initially, the plan was he would alternate between the POV route and the J route every other week under the 5 and 1. Yeah, that hasn't happened because he's been covering the other K route on Saturdays. So that's kind of how that's been going. Yeah, so basically there was 3 of us that should have been off this yesterday that worked, so one person could be off. It's not
Well,
easy, and I mean, I was my last Christmas as an RCA in that office. I was the only RCA in that office, so and I had the ox route, and I ran everything with the ox route. I was working 6 days a week, running mostly 2 days a week. The only time we used to joke that if we just had the ox route that day, that was like our day off because we come in at 9 o'clock, and usually we were home by 10:30, 11 o'clock at the latest. So it was kind of like our day off, but I don't know. They've kind of management now has kind of been different with that. These subs don't really understand what some of us went through beforehand. Even though we try to tell them, they're like, "Huh? What? Yeah, you guys got it too easy." I don't even want to hear it. It's nerve wracking because it was running 2 routes a day, just about almost every single day, at least 3 4 days a week for 4 5 6 months. So I mean, I remember because I had just started being the OJI when I still had the Ox route, and I remember training brand new subs out on their routes, and we do part of their route, and I'm like, all right, now you are going to go for a ride while I run my Ox route real quick.
yeah,
And I did. They go right along while I delivered the ox route. That's just how we ended up working it out for OJI at the time. I mean, you do what you got to do, and I think that's a lot. And I can't speak for every office with newer RCAs or people like that, but as I remember when I started over a decade ago, we at the time when we started, and it was not going to say beaten into us, but it was ingrained in us that we did what we had to do to get the job done, no matter what. And so I've
yeah,
always been that way. And now to see subs that they get done with an ox route, and not the current sub on the ox route, but get done with an ox route. And, hey, can you run these packages out for R6 because they're a POV and it would be a second trip and it cost us less for you to go run them type thing. Plus, you get a little extra pay for doing it. You would think after running a 2.5 hour ox route. No, I don't feel like it. I got stuff to do. All right, well, you can go home. How
oh my god.
it just stumps me. How Yeah, because we never had a choice. Hey, you need to run that when you get done. Okay, thanks. Thanks for letting me know ahead of time. Not a problem. See you later. So yeah, that's my experiences in non-formula offices. Non-formula, I mean, literally, I remember working 1 day a week, or when the regular was off, or at the odd chance of not having coverage on another route, going and running another route when needed. I think I worked 6 7 months before I even started on a second route because we were fully staffed. And now I see RCAs that will have half a dozen routes under their belt within the first few months because They're not fully staffed.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never worked in a non-formula office. So it's, and I think Josh has said he when he first started, I think they were non-formula, but his office is, I know that's him, he could talk to it, but my office, and I know his office is like super large, but my office is large. So we've always been formula. And I think the formula happened, I think maybe 2 years before I started. Um, and so I know that if you are a non-formula office, the reset for, or the not reset,
The Matrix.
well, no, there's the
Oh.
formula, but there's the oh my gosh, the generic day that you would get off is Saturday and Sunday. Like you
Mm-hmm.
would, your relief day, if you're a K route, would just be Saturday. And in the formula, it's designed that Saturday still will be the day that has the most people off. And if it's not, then they didn't do the formula correctly. But then there's the non-formula days. What were you gonna
Yeah.
say, Josh?
Unless unless it's mutually agreed upon between the carrier and management to have a day other than Saturday off. So, like I said, we had 2 Monday K days at one time. Now we're back down to one, only because they didn't want the Saturday when they went regular. They would prefer to have the Monday, and all of us just shook our heads like, so yeah.
Yeah, and there's some offices that I know that have gotten, they're okay. That, and in my experience with it, it's typically been the smaller offices that are able to retain those subs, or there's mutual agreement with the carriers and management, and it's not a sweetheart deal per se,
Hmm.
but they're working together to then it's fine. But I'm not. I wish I knew how many offices in the country were formula versus non-formula, and I think there's more than, I don't know. I don't know if it's equal
I would say it's more than 50%.
or
I
more
would
or
probably
formula.
say it's probably closer to 70% are formula.
Yeah,
And that's just a guess. I have no clue.
that would be a good one to. I think we have the data somewhere, but I would really have to go digging for that.
Yeah. Um.
Yeah, you see,
But
I've had the best of both worlds, if you want to call it that, because we were a regular office until it was 4 months or so after I went regular that we went formula. So I had my Saturday and then it got taken away.
dang. Well,
Yeah,
okay.
just
All
that
right.
quick.
Well, let me yeah, just bloop. I have never had a Saturday relief day. I'm like, what is that like?
It's nice when you
I
can
didn't say I get
get
them off.
it.
I
Yeah.
didn't say I got them
I
off. I just said I had it
yeah.
because we were a
Well,
regular
okay.
office, so everyone had Saturday.
So I just like hearing the different perspectives on it, because I'm kind of weird in the sense that, like, I am somewhat pro formula, but I also recognize, like, those smaller offices, just leave them alone. Like, if they're
Hmm.
retaining the subs and they're hiring, like, just leave them alone, you know. But like, my experience of it is that it's kind of necessary in a sense, because of where we're at in the postal service of hiring and retaining subs. So if you're in a non-formula office, you have Saturday as your relief day, unless management mutually agree, or you and management mutually agreed for another day during the week. If you're in a formula office, then there is an equation which I'm going to read, and I'm going to do some boring, fun reading here from the contract, and then I'll elaborate a little bit more. That there's an equation of how many people in the office of the K days, and then the J days would keep their Saturday anyways, because that's what day they have off. Um, and then the rest of the regular carriers have the rest of the week, and it's supposed to be evenly distributed throughout the week. But Saturday is still always supposed to have more people off. So Article 9.2.c.5 of the contract is relief days, and A, Section A, Assistance in the form of relief days on evaluated routes, except during the Christmas period, will be provided when the evaluated time exceeds 46 hours per week, or as necessary to keep the total actual work hours under 2080 during the guarantee period. When such relief is provided, the roll carrier's compensation will be on the basis of the remaining hours of required evaluated service per the week. So that's just the baseline for your H routes that do not have a relief day, your J routes that have every other Saturday off, and then your K routes that have a relief day every week. And then section B, in offices where the employer determines it is necessary to change the relief day of one or more regular routes due to a shortage of leave replacements, regular roll carriers working their relief day on more than an infrequent basis, and the office having documentation of hiring efforts consisting of a minimum of 4 hiring lists within the last 6 months, the following formula will be utilized. The minimum number of routes on which a Saturday relief day must be authorized will be calculated using the total number of leave replacements assigned and working in the office, minus the number of auxiliary routes divided by the total number of regular routes authorized a relief day. Then subtract 0.10, and the result is then multiplied by the total number of routes authorized a relief day and rounded down to the next whole number. This figure is the minimum number of routes on which management must authorize a Saturday relief day. Subtract this figure from the total number of regular routes authorized a relief day. This final figure is the maximum number of K routes that management may require a non-Saturday relief day. Non-Saturday relief days are Monday. Sorry, here, let me back up a second here before I go into that next part. If I know that was a lot of math there, and we are rule carriers, not mathematicians. But if you have a question whether or not there is the formula is calculated correctly, at least get how many K routes your office has, however many available leave replacements, all of the PTFs and the RCAs, and then the number of aux routes and the number of J routes. And your steward will have it's a formula office calculator tool that they can enter it in, and it'll manually do it in like an Excel spreadsheet. Management also has the ability to calculate it, and they have the same calculator. You'll enter the number of regular K routes, number of regular J routes, number of aux routes, available leave replacements. So like if you have a leave replacement who's just gone for a week because they're off on leave, they're still considered available in the scheme of the formula. But if you have a leave replacement who is on OWCP injury, I would probably say that there's no end in sight of when they're coming back. I probably would not include them as an available leave replacement. Or if they're on like military leave with no end in sight, those would be. But it's pretty rare that they're all not available. So then, the next part of this, section C, non-Saturday relief days are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, which includes a Friday/Saturday rotating. The employer will not require a single non-Saturday relief day to be assigned to more than a Saturday relief day. While the employer determines which non-Saturday relief days benefit the office, the non-Saturday relief day should be spread evenly throughout the week. A Friday/Saturday rotating relief day, or any pair of a Friday/Saturday rotating relief day, equates to one Friday relief day. And I'm going to repeat that because this gets misconstrued a lot by management, and I've had to deal with this a couple times. A Friday/Saturday rotating relief day, or any pair of a Friday/Saturday rotating relief days, equates to one Friday relief day. When a Friday relief day is offered, the carrier may elect a Friday/Saturday rotating relief day. So let's say, for math's sake, I have we'll just do it. So I have 20. There's 20 K routes. There is 2 J's, and there's 2 aux routes, and there is 9 available leave replacements. The maximum non-Saturday relief days on K routes would be 18. So then you would take the 18 and you would divide it by the 5 other days that aren't Saturday. So you would have 3.6 people off on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. And like I had already just said, they could choose Friday and choose that Friday, Saturday rotating. And part of the reason why this is just this is me in the weeds a little bit. I think that they the Friday, Saturday rotating bit is in our contract because it's kind of it's the give and take between the Postal Service and the union, that it's allowed you to kind of balance out with those formula offices that Friday, Saturday rotation, so that it's still showing you got that benefit of having the Saturday off. And then if you have a Friday, Saturday rotating, you would have like either and management messes this up all the time too. You would
Well,
um you have you would have like Friday from week 1 and then Saturday from week 2 of the pay period, or vice versa. You would have Friday of week 2 of the pay period and the first Saturday of the pay period. What were you
I
going
want
to
to say
say,
if you want,
Josh?
I can speak on that because I have the rotation. And
Yeah.
before I get into that, there is a step 4 settlement that says that anybody with a Friday relief day in the formula can elect to choose the rotation. So if your postmaster says, nope, you can't have it because I can't afford to have more people not here on Saturday, not true. They
Yeah.
have to allow
Well, and what?
you have the option and they have to allow you to have it. Whether or not you get mandated every Saturday is a different story.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and what I just read, I mean, it was step 4 or
yep,
not, like that's the black and white language in, and I'm
yes.
reading that straight from the newly printed contract on the website. So
Now,
Okay.
it is my understanding, though, too, with ox routes, if you have an ox route, you can only do it 6 days. You don't have the 5-in-1
Yes.
yes,
option in a formula
Yes.
office. So would that make those ox route RCAs not available?
Un,
they
it
because of the
would,
fact because of
I
the
would say,
fact that they are the number of aux routes are included in this formula calculator. They are the aux routes are already taken into consideration, and you would still include them in the available leave replacements.
Okay.
I know a lot of there's management that get that confused a lot too, but they're available even if they're going to be doing the aux route, because this calculator has a spot that you have to write in type in however many aux routes you have.
Gotcha.
Now,
Yes.
management can also, um, I kind of started. I showed some of my managers this. They could different managers could do different things. It depends on the size of your office too. But like you could take like an Excel spreadsheet and go Saturday week 1, Saturday week 2, and then like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And you could put like, this is how many people I need to have off on each of the days with this formula, and go, okay, um, uh, uh, like if you're, I'm just speaking right now in terms of like if it just was implemented and management had not hired, they'd done everything that they could and it was just implemented, right? And so let's say like in the scenario that I'm doing right now, so you would have your 1J each week, and then you would have 2K routes. So you'd have 3 people off on Saturday, and then you have 9 subs, but you still need to cover your 2 aux routes. So there's 5 routes automatically on Saturday covered, but management can now approve 4 days, 4 people to be off on Saturday for with annual leave or sick leave, so that you get what I'm saying? Like if if management is correctly doing the formula and they have balanced out each of the days, they should be able to see like, oh, okay, I can approve 4 people to be off now on Saturday. Now, does that make sense, or am I like in the weeds?
No, it makes sense. Because if you
Okay.
properly have that formula done, you will have a leave replacement that may not be scheduled on a Saturday. Therefore, that's going to make them
Yes.
available to cover any requested time off.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
And
And
actually, unless you have an H route in your office, if you have, you said what, 20 routes
I said
in this
20K. I
example?
didn't. Yeah, the H routes are not included in the formula at all.
What I'm saying is, unless you have an H route in on the rolls, you could have 100% relief coverage, and it will still tell you you need one non-Saturday.
Yes. And
So
I
if you have
think, but
20 routes and you
that's
say you have 20 subs,
I
it'll
said,
still say one route needs to be on a non-Saturday.
and that's an issue with the if anybody wants that change, they need to do a resolution and try and change what the stuff I just read, because it is very specific.
Yes.
The other thing that could happen is, let's say that you don't have a lot of subs, and even when you're entering things into the formula, and you're going to have management who tries to do this too. This is why it's up to management to choose which days, but it still has to be evenly distributed throughout the other days of the week that aren't Saturday. And you can't have any day on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday that have more people off than Saturday. So if you have a
Right.
manager who goes, I don't want to offer Monday, then that's an issue. Like let's say they
Well,
just threw everybody on
they
Wednesday because they thought it was convenient. Like in this scenario, they decided they were going to have like 5 people off on Wednesday and none on Monday. That's an issue with the formula. Um, if you're
well,
I'll let you.
I
I'll
would
let you.
say they are, because when we first went formula, they actually did not include Mondays, and they actually the postmaster at the time wanted Monday and Friday, and our DR told them no, it's one or the other. As long as over the other 4 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, in this situation, you can still maintain less than Saturday,
Yeah,
you're fine. We actually at some point, like 3 years into it, the new postmaster said no, we're going to include Mondays, so they had to redo the formula. They started from scratch, top to bottom, and redid the
yeah.
formula. At which point I changed to the Friday Saturday rotation from Wednesday.
Um, if and I'll just preface this too. The formula like completely being redone, like completely as a reset, it's like a rarity for ever happening. And I
Right,
think there might, and I'm getting off in the weeds, possibly with SNDCs, but in most cases, if your office is established on the formula, you can't just take away from days of the week or and whatnot. So if you bid to a route that has a Tuesday relief day, and let's say you used to have Saturday, you're going to Tuesday. You don't get to just switch it to a Saturday now. The
right.
routes, it stays with the route. Um,
Yes.
the
It's a
only
sign.
instance the only instance
It's a
that it does not stay with the route is if you're an RCA, and I've got to look on PTF too. If you're just going regular on a route and it has a
yes.
Saturday relief day, then that Saturday needs to be offered by seniority to people that don't already have the Saturday.
But yes, if PTFs, anyone converting to a regular on a new route, if it has a Saturday, they can switch it to a midweek, or I should say to a non-Saturday relief day.
Yeah.
And then, as you mentioned, offered by seniority the most senior non-Saturday on down if they want to switch to Saturday.
Yeah. If so let's say when you get like an influx of if you're gaining or losing RCAs or leave replacements in general, um the formula is supposed to be recalculated each time. And now granted, there's going to be, and I've seen this happen once in my office, it was crazy. You could not have enough leave replacements, so, and it kind of off balances the formula, and it still has, you still have to maintain it where the Saturday at least still has one more person than the rest of the week.
Yep.
But we didn't have enough subs, so they were ended up mandating people on Saturday. If what was I gonna say? Oh my gosh, it just went poof, because there's so much with the
I
formula I could think of.
I can
Like
tell you, I
I've seen
know
crazy scenarios.
we've had the situation where they opted not to recalculate for multiple months because of that same situation. That we were going to lose, but we already were maxed out on how many non-Saturdays we could have
Yeah,
on all 5 days. So
yeah,
it's like there's no point in redoing it because no one's gonna. You can't move anyone.
yeah. And the time when it gets, let's say that they recalculated it, and this has been the scenario that's happened mostly for us. They had to take away from Saturday and put them into the week because we lost subs. The other time that they can recalculate is let's say that the number of J routes fluctuates in the K routes. So when we get these new evaluations every 6 months, they management should probably be recalculating the formula. Don't know if that's happening, but because it confuses the hell out of them and they don't like to do it. If you're at a small office, it really shouldn't be too bad. It's the larger offices that I could see it really being an issue. But if you have a manager who's on top of it, which they should be, if they're a rural office and and they know their formula, like they should have like the person doing the scheduling or the role supervisor specific should have it memorized for the subs or for the regulars relief days and know who your H routes are. But some of them it just like I could tell you my offices for between the two stations, like it's just ingrained in me because I know. Um, and even with like the fluctuation of like you're gonna have some of your J routes that don't have high option that might all of a sudden like go up a few minutes and they became a K route again. And so that's
Yep.
gonna off balance like that. It's gonna change. Um, so if they're just educating themselves, and I hope if there's a manager listening to this, please like educate yourself on the formula. If there's telecons that you have list about the formula, be all about it and hear it. Um, so in my office, what they've done before, they've recalculated it. Let's say they had to take away from the Saturday, the junior people on Saturday would be the ones, like, let's say nobody wanted to move to the rest of the week voluntarily. Like, let's say somebody was like, well, I'll move to another day, but if nobody says that they want to move, then the junior people lose it, and then they're going to be placed probably like Wednesday or Thursday. That's been like because typically the people who are on Monday don't want to move. In my experience with it, because I wouldn't want to
Well,
move if I had a Monday relief day.
on Monday they shouldn't be moving you anyway, unless it's offering Saturday.
Yeah, but I've seen it also where like where they've like if let's say you had a Wednesday or a Thursday, given like the
I tell you what,
option, but
I had Wednesday and I loved it because it gives you a day during the week to make appointments. Like Kristen was saying, well, Nat has during the week,
yeah,
and you work 3 days, you get a day off. You work 4 days, you work 2 days, you get a day off. You work 3 days, you get a day off.
yeah. And I know a
So
lot of
it
people that
splits
like
up your
having
week,
Tuesday off because you get because of all those Monday holidays, you get
Mm-hmm.
that day after the holiday off.
right? But
And
like I
in
said, I'll
and
tell you,
in this instance, I haven't heard enough about her 3-day weekend with Tuesday being Veterans Day, so her holiday reverts to Monday. Yeah, trust me,
Yep.
I hear about it every day. Love you.
Yeah. Well, and then yeah, and then well, that was one of the topics we if they typically work the holiday people before they work the relief day people, but
Yeah.
if you
Yes, and
get it, like
we'll
that's
be going
great.
over the holiday stuff next week, guys. So bear with
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. Um yeah, and I know that there's some I used when I first went regular, I had Thursdays off, and now I have Friday. I've had the opportunity to move to a Saturday, and I got worried about moving to Saturday because I knew the sub fluctuation that I would be like the lowest in seniority on that day. Um but anyways, if management's smart about it, and even if I used to like look at it and go, okay, yeah, Saturday week 1 it has these people off, and I would like kind of look at them by seniority, and then like week 2, because you have the J routes there too, for especially for like relief day work lists, and then like Monday and each day, and then you could have like the Friday people, and you would write like either week 1 or week 2 for them for which like the rotating. um and then it's also kind of nice too with that Friday Saturday rotation, because that also helps balance out that Saturday to show you have more people off, but even though it's still considered Friday as their relief day. If you trying to think of what else with the formula that needed to be, I went over, yeah, like if you bid to another route, it's going to be whatever the relief day is on that route. So be weary of that.
And it should be
Um,
posted with what that relief day is.
yes, when you bid to that route. Um, oh, if not enough regulars want to choose Saturday, management will can mandate the junior regulars to be Saturday. Like go like, no, I don't
Hmm.
want to do that. Um, and I've
Well,
seen that happen
I
once too, because people didn't want to lose their Mondays. But if you
okay. I would
gain a
say
bunch of subs, I'll let you say what you're gonna say. Sorry.
I would say I don't think I've ever heard of a scenario where people refuse to go to Saturday, in mass like that. Usually people want it,
Yeah.
but I can understand if you already have Monday, you don't want to give that up.
Yeah. Um, if you're in an office that's formula, and let's say that you got like management all of a sudden got their head out of their bum and started hiring and retaining subs, then and they redo the formula, and the week loses days. And that's like this scenario where like Monday, let's say there's like all these people on Monday, and um the other part of it too is like the junior people would lose their Monday unless they decided to move to Saturday of their own volition there. The other weird scenario I know that's been going on, um, there's offices that are being adjusted, and I'm just going to read this as a step 4 settlement, because I know there's been some people, and if, and this is in the scenario, like if you didn't just bid to a route with a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, this is like if the formula was recalculated and you could choose like Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, and they voluntarily chose it with this agreement. But this is step 4 settlement. Article 9.2.c.5.d outlines the procedures for assigning relief days other than Saturday in offices in which the formula has been implemented to include those situations when recalculation occurs. The parties agree that any rule carrier that voluntarily selects Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday as the relief day will be given the incentive of allowing the route's evaluation to increase to and maintain an evaluation of 53 to 55 standard hours for the period he or she is assigned to the route with that relief day. When adjustments are necessary, the route will not be adjusted below a 53 to 55 standard hours, except for reasons consistent with contractual provisions and applicable regulations. Conversely, these provisions are not applicable if the rural carrier is assigned Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday as the relief day based on juniority. So that is like a incentive with formula. The other thing that I also think personally, like as a sub from a formula office, the feast and famine balance between RCA retention, and like what I've seen, like there's the offices where they had um subs for a long time. Typically I've seen like the offices that I you're able to you're only guaranteed 1 day a week as a sub, but because of the formula I was able to gain more work, and thus it helped kind of retain me. Because if I was only working 1 day a week, I wouldn't have probably stuck around. I mean, there was a couple times where it got a little rough. Like we had 45 RCAs at one point, and they were freaking out. And so there's kind of a percentage that uh, I don't foresee, and I wish I could be more optimistic about this, but I know that it is not possible for some offices to ever get to 100% subs. Like I don't think my office could. I don't think Josh's office could.
Oh, no.
In all honesty, I have never seen my office, even when I transferred in, going on, what are we at? What is this? Five. So it's been 7 years ago when I transferred in. I transferred in on the H route, and at the time, the aux carrier was doing the 5-in-1 with the POV route. We had one RCA that was on hold down with Route 4, and then three didn't have one. 11, yeah, we still weren't in a. Well, no, wait, three did have one. And 11. So we may have been at a full complement when I first transferred in. That quickly changed because then we had a route that went up for bid shortly after, and then we had a couple RCAs that left. One went to a different craft, one went to a different office for a highway contract route, and so yeah, and that left us with the three amigos for a while until that one transferred out to go the chance to go regular in another office. And I couldn't tell you how many I saw coming in and out the revolving door before I went regular. It too much to count such a small office.
Yeah. We had like when the point where we had 45 subs, they were fighting with each other.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like it was a weird, and it was we had 2 pages. The schedule was 2 pages. And I was like, yeah, that'll never happen again. But for just the sub schedule. But they yeah, I just don't think that there's got to be a balance, and I think that the bones of the formula are good, but it does need some tweaking to modernize it to where we're at as role carriers, because we um like I wish I could have a Monday relief day. That might happen. I mean, there's a couple in my station. I think there's 4 of them, and they love it. And I almost bid to one route because I knew if I bid to it, I'd have Mondays off, and I was senior enough that I wouldn't lose it. And I knew I was gonna. There's some I've had a I've seen it where somebody actually did go regular on a Monday route, and everybody was losing their minds over it. And I was like, no, that's their relief day. And you're gonna have people who try and reset the whole formula all the time and think that it needs to be a clean slate, and most of the time it's because they want Monday uh, or Friday. I've had that happen before too. It just kind of depends on who you are and um, on your office, I guess. But I don't know. I'm more pro formula because of that fact that they're able to balance it out. Um, and I know somebody had said this in the chat too. If you and I'm going to say this more in terms of like, I know when you can put that formula calculator of, this does not take into consideration if you have regulars on extended leave. That's going to be on management for when they're approving leave to determine, if you have somebody who's gone. Or we had it one time where we had a regular who was, they were 204 being, and I had a couple people that we were watching because our leave was getting denied. Um, and that's why there's a contractual provision like after 180 days they have to go back to the route, which is newer into the contract.
Yeah, that one came out in the last contract. Well, and that was the
Yeah.
same for like if you have a carrier in your office that is on full time union detail. That
Yes.
you know
Yep.
that sub is still coded as available.
Yeah. Yeah, and management, if they're smart, I mean, like you could put like an Excel spreadsheet together. Like I said, you have it. It shouldn't be that hard to do a rural carrier schedule because you have the same days off, and especially, I mean, in a non-formula, yeah, but then like in a formula, they all have the same days. You haven't if you haven't recalculated it, they and all you got to do is fill in for your annual and sick leave, or if you got somebody on extended like leave for 204 being a union official, you got somebody out for OWCP, whatever it is, and they could make it like on the bottom of that Excel spreadsheet, like, oh, okay, I have to cover Route 1 and 5 also, and then they could it if like I said, if they're doing the formula correctly, then they can at least see how much leave they can approve. um, I've noticed though the only bad side is when there's there's a couple times where we had how do I explain it? We had like a lot of people out on leave, and like it was just a weird balance, and they were only able to approve like one person every Saturday to be on annual. And so like if you didn't set that timer for yourself to put in that leave 60 days out, that was kind of a problem. Um, but that's on management to be hiring and retaining the subs. And if they're good managers and they're calculating the formula the way they should be, then it should help balance that and hopefully make life a little bit easier for the regulars, for all rural carriers. Um, but I know that that's not always the case. Trying to think of what else with the formula. Um, and if you're an office where like management all of a sudden um, just decides that they want to do formula, that's concerning. I mean, they really have to show that they did not hire. And that includes like that management has the ability to get a mailer out and post job postings while they sent out the mailer, and that they posted it in like different job sites. That they I know that they can even an informed delivery now on the website, on the email notifications for customers. They can even put something in there to try and hire people. So it shouldn't just be a solution for that. Did you want me to go over the PTF part too?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, let me get to that. Let me, if I can, I should have just had it open in another tab. Like, hear me, and I told you it's like the new contract. I have to like look. Wait a second. Uh, so Article 30.2.a, and like I said, Article 30.2 is RCA's and PTF's best friend. Um, the employer shall make every effort to expeditiously fill leave replacement vacancies when they occur. Regular roll carriers shall have the right to require that a leave replacement be assigned to their route, which I wish that they could do that. But I've seen I've seen two fully staffed, and they had an extra RCA because they didn't realize they had hired that many, but they didn't have hours, so they jumped ship. Um, the establishment of a part-time flexible rural carrier assignment is at the discretion of the employer. However, the employer is required to establish such assignments equal to 10% of the number of K routes in the office when the relief day of one or more regular routes is changed in accordance with Article 9.2.c.5. Additionally, a part-time flexible assignment will be established when hiring efforts have been unsuccessful following the regular road carrier's request for assignment of a leave replacement, provided the part-time flexible role carrier will be assigned 2K routes. So if you're a formula office, you should have PTFs 10%. So let's, like, what did I say in my fun math occasion I did earlier? There's like what? So 20K routes times 10%. So you should have, if you have 20K routes in your office, you should have 2 PTFs at least. And honestly, if management is having a big issue, and I'll stand on a soapbox to say this, and their turnover's real high, and they're worried about RCA, like losing these RCAs, like you should be really trying to get some PTFs, because the PTFs are making like 25 something an hour, 25 or 26. I think it just went up, didn't it?
Something like
Too, because
that.
they're about to.
I don't have it in
Yeah,
front of me.
I know.
I
I
know
know.
it's
I'm about
higher
to
than
look,
my
but
hourly wage.
yeah, and the PTFs actually have the uh it's higher because they have their holiday pay, because they don't get holidays. They're
Yeah,
they're at 26.33 an hour.
yeah, because their holiday pay is divided equally. They take what the lump sum of the holidays would be and divide it equally across the board for them across the 52
Yeah,
the 26 pay
yeah,
periods. But
yeah,
that wage, they have to remember that their overtime wage is less than that holiday with that holiday. You'd have to
yeah.
deduct
Would it
that
be?
difference of the holiday
Yeah,
to get your normal wage. That's what you would make for overtime.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, they're making 26. What did I just say? It was 26 something an hour.
Mm-hmm.
What did I do? Well, like, where the heck did it just go? Oh my god, I have too many tabs opened. But if you're a smart manager, I mean, we had this one time where we had a bunch of PTFs, and I know that if you have enough K routes to sustain them, because you got to have 2 to 5K routes for them, and you
Mm-hmm.
can try and balance it with the RCAs. Pay them the $26.33 an hour. Get, instead of, um, even if, like, let's say you're not going to have any routes available for a long time, at least they're earning towards their retirement, and they're not having to be essentially a career RCA. They're earning towards retirement, and it's counting towards it. Um, but so if, yeah, like I said, if you're a formula office and you have no PTFs, there's something wrong. But unless you're a formula, well, no, you wouldn't. If you're a formula office and you're all, let's say, I don't even know if this is a scenario. It's an all H route office. Let's say that,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe one J. But
I knew of
uh,
an office not too far from me that was all H's and highway contracts.
huh.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that one would be one that has that one might be one that doesn't have a PTS.
Right, right.
Yeah,
I would say, but
but
they're still entitled to subs.
Yes, they are.
they still, yep. Yeah, based on what I just said, the employer shall make every effort to expeditiously fill leave replacement vacancies when they occur. Regular carriers shall have the right to require that a leave replacement be assigned to their route. And if management's failing 120-day letters, they're supposed to be posting PTF positions.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's only, like, this is another thing that a lot of people, I think, we talk about, I talk about PTFs a little bit more because my office has some, but we actually have more RCAs and PTFs now. Um, and I think they're about to post another PTF position after a route comes down. And typically offices will post the routes before they post the PTF positions, because they're just going to get sucked into there anyways. But
Well, contractually, they have 30 days to post a regular route where there is no contractual language how long it takes to post the PTF.
yeah, and that implementation of them having the PTFs is from the last contract. So
Yes.
so that could be a work in progress thing. Oh, what was I going to say? Oh my gosh, I cannot remember now. Oh my god, I know I can kind of go off in the weeds on this, but 120-day letters. Oh, that there's only about there's not as many PTFs in the country as people think that there are.
No, there is not. In fact, I
There's
was
like,
just looking at the numbers from, I think it was state convention that I saw.
yeah, there's only like there's about 24 to 25,000 RCAs, but there's only about 4,000 to 4,200 PTFs, and then there's what 85,000 rural routes
Oh, let
in
me
the whole
look
country.
here. I got this stuff from state convention, so it's a little, it was as of March. Oh, that was just numbers here.
Yeah, and if while you're looking that up, but if especially like in the offices that have gone through adjustments that are formula and they've created routes,
Mm-hmm.
that would be a recalculation of the formula. That would negate like, hey, something changed here in
So
the amount
I
of
mean, the numbers
being released days.
are going back. Looks like pay period 7 of 2025 when these statistics were done. We had 75,966 regular carriers, 4,661 PTFs, 6,635 ARCs, 42,082 RCA RCR subs.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that
Oh, there is more than
was,
yeah.
yeah, so there is definitely 10 times as many subs, RCAs, RCRs. I only think there's only a couple RCRs left in the country, but yeah,
Yeah, the
there's
other thing
literally
too,
10 times as many RCA type people over PTFs.
the other thing with the RCAs that it really sucks is that a lot of them that because management's not retaining them, and the formula is designed partially for retention.
Hmm.
I mean, it's to help with that, to even help with the regulars, and then to manage the overtime. There's a lot of different things that they could be using it for, but uh, management also is really bad about releasing the subs out of the system. So some of those numbers might not even be
Yeah.
correct. It might be less because they never put in a resignation letter, or management just left them on the books. So if that's the case though, and like your management's calculating the formula and the seniority list says like you have all these subs, like that's an issue. And
Hmm.
the management might be like, well, they're not available, and be like, okay, well then get them out of the system then,
Oh,
like
exactly.
show that
Yeah.
they're gone. Um, but yeah, and so yeah, like I was saying, that if your office like gained routes, that's or the amount of day routes that need a relief day, that's a formula recalculation. Uh, Subs, like if you just got an influx of subs, management should be recalculating that formula. I've had it one time where management had recalculated it after they hired about 5 subs, and they argued with me that they didn't think that they were available yet because they were still inside of that the 2 full pay periods on their primary.
Hmm.
So kind of keep that in mind too. That if they haven't even gone through academy, I don't know if I would consider them available yet. But once
Ooh.
they're out of that, yeah. But once they're out of that and they're out of that,
Two
then
two pay
um,
periods on their primary route.
yeah, then they should be in that formula calculation because I'm pro for that Saturday. If it, especially if it's gonna increase the Saturdays of people being off. But anything else, Josh, that do you think I missed?
Um, I can't think of anything. You were pretty thorough. I know there was, in my not my office, but another office in the district that they recalculated once a month, just because it was the influx of subs coming and going and or becoming converting to regular. It was just too hard every time they had a change to do it, because otherwise they'd be doing it like almost every week.
Yeah.
As we mentioned towards the top of the episode, if you have a Friday relief, it is your option upon getting the Friday if you want just Friday or Friday Saturday rotation, and that counts as a Friday on the formula for the relief day. So I can't think of anything else off the top of my head.
I know I don't like I'll go off in the weeds of other side quests with the formula that they're, and like I said, they have that formula calculator, so it should be easy. I say that with an asterisk here, for them to enter it in and figure that out.
You would think it's just a matter of them actually
Yeah,
doing their jobs, which is a
yeah.
whole total
If
different topic to begin with.
Exactly.
yeah,
Which is when
if
you need to get your steward involved in holding them accountable to doing that.
yeah. There is. I've also heard lately too. There's some smaller offices that may be formula and they're not. And I would just encourage you to figure out if you are a formula office, because that could kind of change things for you and your understanding of some of this. Like the 5-in-1. If you're an RCA, um, and your office has an aux route.
Hmm.
Because I did, like, you're actually who I learned that from, because we never have had that ability here
Yeah, I did a five and
because we've
one
been from the
with my primary when I had the aux. The POV route was my primary
yeah.
at the time. I did a 5-in-1 with that. Um, I hardly ever worked my primary though, so yeah. Sadly, I can count on one hand how many times I ran that primary for an actual K day. In the year that I was on the aux route.
Yeah, and the other thing, I know this is me in the weeds. Yeah, finding out if you're a formula office, and then finding out like if you're gonna know if you're a withdrawal office.
Yes.
That's another weird thing that you don't really think about. Like I know like Josh's office is a withdrawal it's all or nothing.
Yep, my
But Josh,
office.
I
I've
know,
always worked withdrawal offices.
yeah. Well, Josh
Well,
he gets like some of
I
his stuff
think
taken to him.
I think in my district, I think there is only one office that is not withdrawal
Yeah, the only thing that's
Yeah,
brought to
in the
our
whole
those are
district.
cases, only mail wise that's brought to our cases is our AS. What is the carrier routed flats. Yeah,
the flat tubs. Yeah,
those ones, and then if we get a box holder and our newspapers, everything else we have to go retrieve. Our raw flats,
yeah.
our pre-sorted bundle flats, our DPS,
Yep.
yeah, hot case, obviously.
Same here.
Yep.
Withdrawal is the carrier selection by vote of majority vote. It is not something
Yeah.
that management can decide.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different topic.
Formula management could make that decision, but they have to have done certain things before they made that
So
decision.
if you're currently not a formula office and management is talking about making you guys a formula office because they're lazy or they're just talking about it, please contact your DRs because then they can
Yep.
that'll put them on the radar and they can check and see if they've done everything that they are supposed to do prior to implementing the formula.
Yes.
Yep, because there is a
Because
long
typically they
checklist that they
haven't.
have to follow.
Yes.
I'm like, oh yeah, prove it. Prove that we need to go formula. If regulars are working their relief days, that's one part of it. That's just one part
Yeah, I know.
on
I
a
know
frequent
our
basis.
postmaster doesn't want to become a formula office, but at the same time, when you have one carrier who works every single one of their relief days because, well, it's a POV route and, oh, they don't have a POV, so they never get a sub. Yeah.
Yeah, gets spooky. So, but all right. Well, that's formula. I think we covered most of it. If we didn't, tell us. And if I messed up, I'm sorry.
We're human, we're just carriers, that's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, read article, what did I say? It was 9.2.c.5
Yep.
of the contract. That has the formula calculation. Um and if you're an absolute weirdo like I am, one time I actually did manually calculate the formula, not through
And
Excel spreadsheet.
it's 30.2.
Yes, 30.2 dot B. 30.2 is pretty much where that's about you getting the PTFs because of and your entitlement to having a sub for every route.
And I believe that's also where it has the 6-day talk route. The 5 and
Yes.
2, the 5 and 1 is not an option. Is in there also.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
filling that vacancy, yes.
Yeah. So.
All right, guys. That worked. That got us a little over an hour of formula talk and chatter and banter and
Woo-hoo.
all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So we are going to wind this
Oh.
one down unless, well, go ahead. Not quite.
Oh, I was just gonna say. I just thought that what day is it? Next Saturday we get a raise.
I thought it was the 22nd.
The 15th.
Oh, is it the 15th? I thought it was. Well, yeah. Okay. Pay period wise, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Start of the pay period. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That would be the general wage increase, the contractual one, the 1.4%. I get my step increase this pay period that we're currently in. And then the general wage increase the following pay period. Hey,
Nice.
I'm and the thing is if the 50 weeks for table 2 hadn't gone into effect at the beginning of the new guarantee year in October, I would have had both of them next week or on the next pay period, I should say.
Yeah.
So
Our
I got paced
RC.
out. I had one check in between the September or the first when they added everybody else's previous ones in, minus the back
Yeah.
pay, obviously. So there was that pay period, and then the cost of living adjustment in September that started, and so I had one pay period in between those two that I didn't see a wage adjustment on. So
Nice.
which was the check we just got Friday. So yeah, I'm not complaining
Woohoo!
one bit. So
Yeah, the
yeah,
RCAs starting next Saturday will make $21.89 an hour, and the ones that have worked, no, RCAs and ARCs will advance to step 2. After 156 weeks, they will make $22.89 on Saturday. Those
yes,
ones,
yep. So those
but most of
RCAs
them
that have
21.89.
yep.
Heck yeah,
And I was still at 19 something when I went full time.
yeah. I was at 15.
Yeah,
I was
that's about.
actually I was
I got hired
15.
in when I initially got hired in, or was going through the hiring process. It was the 15 something an hour, and then once my effective hire in date was, it had just jumped up to the 16.37. I think it was. I don't know. That was 11 years ago going on. So yeah, but I'm happy that
Yeah.
the RCAs with 3 years or more at least have that little step, even though it's just $1. It's a step in the right direction because, like I said, I remember being an RCA of 7 8 years training brand new RCAs, and they couldn't believe I was making the same amount they were.
Yeah,
So
ridiculous.
it is it a small step, yes, but it is a small step in the right direction.
Yeah, a
Yes,
small
yes, it
step
is.
in the right direction of for RCA mankind.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And we don't have anybody in our office anymore that falls under that. Oh, we got, yeah,
They're all
both of
freshies.
our one RCA is just coming up on 1 year, either this month or next month. I don't remember exactly when he got hired in. I know we didn't do his on the route training until after Christmas. He was running parcels for a bit, and then the other one started. We'll have his year in February. So we have one in the pipeline. That's all I know. We just want to say a big thank you to all of our veterans out there. Josh with us here is also a
Yay.
veteran, and my son's a veteran, my boyfriend's a veteran, his brother's a veteran. It's you guys put your life on the line, so basically all of us can do what we're doing at home with
Yes.
freedoms,
Yep.
and we definitely
Yep.
appreciate every single one of you. So thank you,
Yep.
and
And
happy
thank you for
Thank you.
veterans.
serving.
Yes. Thank you, Josh, for serving.
Thank you for serving. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank
So
you for thanking
yeah,
me.
everybody have a safe and happy Veterans Day. So other than that, guys, we will wind this down now. Unless Meow thinks of something else off the top of her head real
I
quick.
know. I'll think of. I know, right?
She's been banned for the rest of the episode.
Yes,
No,
I'm
no, no.
done. I closed out of the union website, so we're good.
All right, all right. Yeah, I put my phone down too. So,
Yeah.
all right, Josh, your final thoughts for this evening.
Um, I know the weather's starting to change, so make sure you're dressing appropriately in layers. Be safe out there. Don't get overwhelmed. If you do, take a step back, take a deep breath, and step back in. Meow.
Well, thank you guys. I'm glad that we got the. I know the formula is kind of a intimidating thing. I hope I'm like, don't hold me accountable if I said anything wrong, but no, it's all good. It's fine. Hopefully, yeah. If you have any questions on it, please contact your steward. Uh, please make sure that you are taking care of yourself. I know that there is a lot going on. We're right here at the beginning of peak season, and with daylight savings and everything. If you are having any issues, or if anybody in your family is having issues, or if you just need to talk to somebody like outside of the post office, or just to vent, there is help for you, and you could call EAP. It's its own private entity. It doesn't go through the postal service, but their phone number is 800 EAP for you, or 800-327-4968. So please just know that there's people there for you. We care about you. I mean, that's why we're all on here sharing this information for you guys, because there's countless documents and a whole bunch of stuff that you could go on side quests like I do. But again, that phone number is 800-327-4968. You can even look up USPS EAP. They will help you, and they will help you with counseling or anything that you need. So, Kristen.
Thank you guys. Yeah, definitely EAP is available. Thanks for bringing that up again, Meow. But yes, the weather, it is a changing. I know it is up around here. We have had that dreaded S word off and on. Some areas a little bit north and more to the west of me have gotten really hammered. And so, guys, yeah, definitely stay safe, because we know, especially those of us that do get snow, people tend to forget how to drive in it every year. So you got to be a little bit more alert, not necessarily, yourself, especially when the road conditions change quickly, but making sure you're more alert with those that are whizzing past you down the road, because you just never know when somebody's going to lose it. And that's the last thing you want to do, is get involved in that. So stay vigilant, guys out there. Start dressing more appropriately for the weather. Stay hydrated, regardless of the time of year it is. Hydration is important. And on that note, guys, we will be back next week, and we're going to go over Christmas overtime period and holidays and all that good stuff. So until next week, y'all take care.